down in the bottom left position, we have got the red Terran player from Up and Coming Gaming. It's Hood. And his opponent in the top right, the blue Terran player from FM Esports, RazerBlader, who's currently 1-0 up.
Is my mic better or worse right now?
A million times worse. It sounds like we're in a wind tunnel, man. I have no clue what you've done to that mic, but I'll just keep casting for a little bit. It's fine.
I put it back to where it was before. It's good.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Okay, so I know not to turn that knob to the right now. That's good. That's good.
Never play with knobs on stream, Zoya. It's always a bad move.
Well, we had that TVT again here. Looks like we're seeing a standard opener here from both players as they throw on that Rax 12. And as you're saying about Neoplanets, it's one of my favorite maps. Kespa did a really good job designing it. It's well balanced. It has a lot of cool strategies built from this map specifically. A lot of narrow chokes. It's one of my favorite maps to cast and play on.
I hate playing on this map because I'm a macro-orientated player, so I'm just like, if I can't take a third base easily, I just start getting a little bit twitchy. I start thinking, ooh, what should I do now, guys? What happens? And then I end up cheesing people and winning, and then I feel bad about myself for about a day.
I love cheeses, man. You have to be able to do anything, man. You gotta be able to bust out the macro, you gotta be able to bust out the all-ins, you gotta be able to bust out the proxies. Gotta be able to play on every map, man, and this is one of my favorite maps. We're gonna be seeing a fast command center here from our red Terran player as he goes for the gases expand. Same opener last game from RazerBlader. What are you expecting here? What do you think we'll be seeing?
I don't think we'll see the second Rax. Oh, actually, now I've said that, he is going to chuck that down, which is... This is quite interesting because Star Station's really good for that double Rax Reaper play because there's so much cliff area. Neoplanet, there isn't quite as much of it, and it's a lot easier to defend it off. You can stick Marines right on that little cliff area there, and it's awkward to get Reapers up in easily. So I'm not sure how I feel about this because on Star Station it wasn't like the Reapers did catastrophic damage anyway. So on a map where it's hard to get that off, well, we'll have to wait and see what he's going to be doing, but Hood just checking around for any proxies, which I think is a really smart move. This is a map where proxying is so effective. Are you still there, Zoya?
Yeah, my mic keeps bugging out. Sorry. This is a good map for proxies, like you said. There's so many places you can hide the map. He's not hide them out on the map. This is such a big map, but he is deciding to put it in his main base. First Reaper coming inside. Marines are being built. Going to scout that there is a second Rax on the way. Going to see the double gas timing. So he does kill off an SCV, delays that second Rax, and gets a full scout of what's going on. I mean. This just shows you the potential of Reaper play. He's not actually going to kill off that SCV. Hopefully he gets an attack on it as he swings around, trying to do as much damage to these as possible. It's more than likely Hood's not going to repair these SCVs, so when he comes back in for round 2, there's going to be a lot of weakened SCVs here.
It's also quite a brave move, building this command center down on the low ground. The second Reaper now coming in here for RazerBlader will pick off one of the Marines. Of course, that's very frustrating. The one Reaper, though, very low, will get taken down. That is actually a big hit to RazerBlader at this point. He needs as many up as he can in order to continue on with this aggression. But behind this, RazerBlader just doing the same kind of greedy play that he did in game number 1, getting down the command center, getting down the engineering base, starting the upgrades, knowing that his opponent's got to sit back and defend these Reapers.
Yeah, wow, he actually does there. Good defense there from Hood, and this is what you're talking about earlier. This map is not as good as Star Station. There's only really 2 entry points, on the left and on the right, where his Marines are now, so if you can predict where he's going to come in from. The problem is this command center has been delayed by so much that RazerBlader's command center is about to finish on his own. I mean, the damage has been done in my opinion. He's only killed off a few SCVs, but the delay on this command center has been more than what he was wanting.
Yeah, if we go back to game number 1 and think about that, the command center for Hood was up a lot sooner. Admittedly, it was in the main and wasn't floated down until after RazerBlader took his, but the sheer fact it was finished meant SCVs were being pumped, which made up for some of the losses. If we take a look at the harvester count, it's currently sitting at 23-18 in RazerBlader's favor. A nice little advantage there. Stim starting already for RazerBlader. Hasn't got the +1 beginning yet, but I'm expecting to see that in a moment, because currently he's just playing identical to game number 1.
This is just really solid play from from RazerBlader. He's got his boat lures down. You know, it's not that bad of a thing to see. You know, I mean, people talk about how this map's not as good as Star Station for the Reaper build. You can make that build work on any map. There, you know, as long as you control properly. And it's cool to see that RazerBlader is confident enough with his control that he's willing to go that type of style on every single map, even a map like Star Station Neil Planets where it's not as effective. You just gotta, you know, commend players like this who are just that confident with their ability.
Now, one thing I do want to touch on is if we take a look behind Hood's mineral line in his main, he's done a really cool little thing with these two supply depots, and it's only a minor thing, but this means if the Reapers were still up, they'd have less paths to run through. It'd be a lot easier for Hood to be able to deal with them, and I think little things like that SimCity show that Hood has got a real game head about him. He knows what he's got to be doing to try and minimize the damage he's taking, and considering there's been... I would say this game hasn't been quite as smooth for RazerBlader. Notice his +1 is a little bit later than it was previously. His starport is a little bit later too. Hood is in a better situation than he was on Star Station as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. You know, on Star Station, he lost a lot more harvesters, and he wasn't doing a good job of keeping up with his production. And this game, he's keeping in it, and he's getting his upgrades. That's the main thing right now. Tech-wise, he's actually ahead, like you said. The starport's already pumping out medevac. Starport's just about to finish for RazerBlader, so this is a lot closer of a game, despite how delayed that command center was.
And that always means good things for us, because I think Hood, in game number 1, maybe the nerves got to him a bit, but credit to RazerBlader, and it's something you mentioned earlier, he's playing standard. He's not doing anything crazy. Not going for any funky builds or things like that. He's just doing a very normal game. And I think in the early stages of a big open LAN event like DreamHack, that's the right thing to do. Because you're not going to win the later stages games with gimmicky play. And therefore, you want to be playing normal in the early stages to get used to the nerves, to get used to the atmosphere, to get used to your playstyle, get into your comfort zone, get warmed up for if and when you do get to those later games. Now, RazerBlader grabbing down his 3rd and 4th gas geyser here. He has got +1 done, got +1 infantry armor coming down, and this is actually going to be a big advantage for him because currently Hood doesn't even have an engineering bay.
Yeah, that's just, you know, every advantage you can get it is huge. Now, we did see that in game number 1. Hood went for the really quick double engineering bay, so he was able to catch up that way. If we see that soon from him, he'll be able to catch up when 2-2 turns around, but we do have this drop coming into the main base. 2 medevacs full of Marines. They do not have stim, though. That's an important thing. Helps that DPS out a lot. At the same time, RazerBlader was moving out with drop of zone, so he doesn't have a lot of units back home. There is that turn that's going to start beating on that medevac. Stim coming forward here for RazerBlader, but he's not really getting into position. The medevac, or the Starcraft being targeted down, that is a huge win if you can get that and get out here with most of his units.
I think Hood should just back out now. He doesn't need to do too much more. He's playing a little bit of a risk, but likewise, he's getting counterattacked. Hood not sieging up that tank. That would be essential. If he got that siege up, he would have been in a much better spot. SCV's being forced to get pulled here. RazerBlader doing a huge amount of damage now. So many SCVs going down. Hood picking up from the main base, coming back to try and defend here, but the tank already down. RazerBlader is in a brilliant spot with this counter drop, and as we can see, a ridiculous number of SCVs have been killed now. 20 already dead, Zoya.
It's really sad to see. Hood's drop was doing so much damage. A lot of this could have been prevented from Hood as well. Like you said, he didn't siege up right away. He pulled SCVs. There was so slow of a reaction time from Hood back home that it was looking like he was going to be able to take this game. You know, he did a lot of damage in the main base, but Harvester Tab, look at it right now, 18-45. I mean, that's a little bit too much for TVT. Yeah, no, not at all.
Medevacs definitely don't. So this is a bit of a problem for Hood. I think if he just picked up after he knocked off that starport, he would have been in a brilliant spot. He's picked up, came back, he could have got the defense off and done some nice damage, but he's trying to go in for this. Of course, the 1-1 upgrades are done for RazerBlader. No upgrade yet for Hood. That's a massive advantage in these marine-on-marine fights. And look at this push coming out of the natural base, Sawyer. 3 tanks, a good number of Marines, and nearly triple the supply for the Blue Terran.
You point out the most key thing there is that it's triple the supply. You know, in certain matchups, you could be, you know, maybe in the PvZ and the Pros player can hold on for a long time because of force fields and good positioning. But in a TVT, when you're down this far in supply, unless your entire supply is in siege tanks and you have turrets defending them against drops, there's no way you're going to be able to hold a push like this. There's just so much Terran here. Big stim coming in from RazerBlader. Siege tank on the high ground needs to be targeted down by him, but he just doesn't even care. He's just going to A-move into this. Kills off all the Marines. 39 supply. Sea Shank does fall. Command's going to be turned around. Manner Mule's dropped from Hood, knowing that it is game over, and he drops the GG. RazerBlader going to take the series.